Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. This is Lori with H&L Family Farms. So today what I'm going to do is I had harvested some zucchini and squash from our garden, and I had pre-cut it last night already and washed it and pre-cut it. And so what I'm looking to do today is I am going to prepare portion freezer meals for us to have fried squash and zucchini at supper time. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the process. So let me show you here what I've done so far. Okay, as you see, I already have my squash and zucchini cut, and what I did was I cut it in about a 1/2 inch slices. I've got my boiling water coming to a boil now, and then I also have an ice bath. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my squash, I'm going to place it into my boiling water for about 3 minutes. I'm just kind of blanching it. Once the 3 minutes is up, I'm then going to take it, remove it, and I'm going to put it here into my ice bath. Don't pay any attention to that. That's just my roasty thawing out for supper tonight. But anyway, so once I get to this step here, I will let you all see. Okay, my water is coming to a really nice boil here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is start placing my squash in here. Now I have quite a bit of squash and zucchini. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it all in one batch. I'm hoping so, but I may have to do this in 2 batches, and that's okay. Basically, what you're just wanting to do is just to kind of soften this up before we put the seasonings on it and the breading to get ready to freeze it. And basically what the ice bath does is it actually stops it from cooking, which is, we don't want it to be too soft where we're unable to continue. Oh, I'm able to get all that in one batch. Good. All right, so this is going to come to a nice little boil. I'm going to get some tongs here, and once this comes up to a pretty steady boil, I'm going to start my timer at 3 minutes. And I will come back and show you when I place it into this ice bath. So as you can see, it's starting to boil now, and I did set my timer for 3 minutes, which is right there. And so I'm going to go ahead and let this boil out for 3 minutes, and then we'll place it into the ice bath. I went ahead and turned the stove off, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this squash, and I'm going to start placing it into this bath over here. Because like I said, what we're doing is we're trying to get it to stop cooking. And then also this is blanching it. It's very hot, so be very careful here. I should be able to get all of this into this ice bath, I would imagine. This pot isn't that much smaller than the pot I just cooked it in, so we'll see. All right, y'all, once it has finally cooled down in the ice bath, what I do is I go ahead and I'm going to pour it into my strainer. Okay, so I now have it in my strainer, so I'm going to go ahead and get the seasoning all prepared and everything, and we will start covering these with the seasoning and the breading and place them on our cookie tray, and I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, I went ahead and have strained my squash and zucchini. Now, this recipe that I'm giving you, it does call for 10 to 12 squash and zucchini. I did have 12, so altogether. So what we're gonna do here is in this bowl here, I have added 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I added 2 cups of cornmeal. You can use yellow or the white cornmeal. I chose the yellow. I used 1/4 cup of garlic and 1/4 cup of seasoned salt and 2 teaspoons of salt. Now, I did add some pepper in here too. Now, we like ours real seasoned. You can omit the seasoned salt and the garlic powder if you'd like. And just do the salt and the flour and the cornmeal. I'm going to stir that all up. And then here I have 3 eggs. Now this recipe does call for 3 eggs. Sometimes I have to use 4. Just depends on, how big the eggs are. These are 3 large eggs, so it should be okay. And then here I have my cookie pan, and what I've done is I went ahead and I sprayed it with some Pam. And once I stir this all together, I will show you the next step. Y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and mix this all together here. Like I said, I mean, you don't have to use the garlic powder and all that good jazz. We just do it because we like it pretty seasoned. You can hear my grandbaby in the background. He's in the living room with my mom playing here. All right, then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stir these all up and scramble them here. My grandbaby's learning how to do these raspberry noises, so he walks around pretty much all day making these noises. He's so silly. All right, so I've got that pretty much stirred up how I'd like it, okay? And then I went ahead and I got this stirred. Now what I want to do is, even though I have the cooking spray on this pan, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a little bit of this, and I'm just going to kind of still go over this. And I'll tell you why, because I found that if I don't do this, it sticks when I go to take it out of the freezer, and that's no fun. So this just kind of adds like a little bit of a flour base. All right, now that I'm done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and remove my fork here. All right, I'm gonna take one of my squash and I'm gonna go ahead and dip it here. And then I'm gonna put it in my base here. And then I'm just gonna place it there. So once I get this whole entire pan full, I'll probably have to do another one. I will show you the next step after that, but we'll do a couple more here. Got them in my egg wash. Threw them in here into my lovely batter. Just basically coating them. That's what we're doing here. It's quite a messy job. You're not gonna have really clean fingers after this. I usually do a couple at a time to try to speed up the process here. All right, and I'll be back once we get this finished. As you can see, I have placed all of them onto my cookie sheet. I ended up running out of cookie sheets. My husband is using my other ones for some blackberry stuff that he's doing with the blackberry seeds. But so I went ahead and used a cookie pan. And then what I like to do is I like to take a little bit of extra breading here, and I just kind of put it over it, you know, just kind of covering up. I just like to make sure it's fully breaded. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place this into the freezer here for about 4 to 5 hours. You can actually freeze it overnight. I found 4 to 5 hours is fine because I do it in the morning here, and then that way I can have them packaged and done by the afternoon. What I do want to show you is this is like a portion for us. So as you can see, I have it in a freezer bag. I've tight sealed it, and this is what it'll look like. And we're actually going to have fried squash tonight with supper, so I will make sure I put in a clip to show you what this looks like after it's prepared. But I'll show you the steps after I pull this all out of the freezer this afternoon. I do want to add that when you take your squash and zucchini out of the freezer, you are going to want to fry it immediately from the freezer. So you're going to fry it frozen, just like you would if you went and bought french fries, frozen french fries, or frozen okra from the store. You freeze it, or you fry it frozen. It's going to be the same thing. I would not thaw it out because then the breading's going to fall off. The squash and the zucchini is going to be yucky, and that's no good for anybody. So I just placed it all into my big freezer that I have out in my barn, and in about 4 or 5 hours I'll get it out, and then I will show you what it looks like. Okay, everybody, I got my zucchini and squash out of the freezer now, and as you can see, they're hard as a rock. I've had to take a knife and kind of pry them to get them off of the cookie pan a little bit, just to kind of loosen them so that I can go ahead and start using a spatula. If you have one of those spatulas that are metal, you could probably peel them up. I just have this on hand right now. I just have this spatula, which doesn't really have a real metal edge. So basically what I'm going to do, because I have this one and these over here, I'm going to portion them up in size, and then I'm going to place them into an airtight bag for our supper. Now I got 3 different size meals out of this. I did go ahead and take the air out of it, but I'll be able to put these in my freezer. This one I made a little smaller because sometimes my daughter goes to her boyfriend's house, and so we'll have this one night when she's not home. But other than that, like I said, out of 12 squash, I mean, I got 3 sides for dinner. That's 3 different meals. So it all works out good. And then, like I said, we are having this for a side tonight. So I will show you what the finished product looks like. And it's so good with some ranch, or, you know, some people dip it in ketchup. I do ranch. But anyway, it's really good.